the tech gardener, I love cultivating businesses, nonprofits, and even artists and creatives, the business tech ecosystem. And we love to help find a growth pathway for leaders in organizations, business owners, managers, entertainers, etc. And this tech audit really it comes out of many people come to me because they have one frustration. Help me solve this. And then as I explore with them, I realize lots of other parts of their tech haven't really been thought about in a while. So I had the brainstorm to give an opportunity to walk through the tech, the whole tech ecosystem, communications, AI, all kinds of things we're going to talk about today. And we're going to walk through my proprietary tech audit app that I created. And it will give you a chance to gather your own insights and get some quick wins that you can walk away with today and implement either later today or this week or next week, plug it into your calendar, and then also some longer term ideas. And come on. Oh, you know what? Okay, there we go. So TCO Technology is the umbrella organization that I am with, and I am really grateful for their relationships that were already longstanding that then I've added on to. And the reason I call myself the tech gardener is that I have nature and public gardens and gardening in my origin story from my grandfather and my dad both created public gardens in Wisconsin and West Virginia. And my dad was an early tech adopter and brought computer-aided design into the landscape architecture program at WVU. And I took the first computer class of my high school. So it was a lot of fun. And so as we're getting started, so understanding the big picture, what we want to think about is that technology is really the roots of your business, the foundation. And you also want to think about what are your overall business goals, and then what tech goals do you have as well. And so we'll look at your strengths and your gaps. We'll look for how can you save time, cut confusion, solve your pain points, and also build on the good things you have. So it's not just going to be about what the problems are, but really like taking an inventory, because you see the doctor once a year for a physical, you get your teeth cleaned, and your business needs that kind of overview as well, at least once a year, I would think. And so I want to take a poll and understand a little more who's in the room. So Shaylee, if you could post that, that would be great. And while everyone's answering the poll, if you don't mind putting in the chat how you found your way to the garden of this webinar today, and what seed of curiosity brought you to plant yourself here.
And I'm curious if you can see the poll. Karin, can you?
I do not see it.
Okay, it did something weird. I'm going to stop it and then redo it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think it should be up now. You should all see it on the right side there. If it gives you trouble, let me know in the chat. Sometimes it might be loading.
It says voting closed.
Oh, so I closed it and I reopened it. Interesting. It won't let me click it. Okay, let's try again. Reset. Only closed. I don't want
Tech
it.
Gardener has tech issues. We love it and we hate it, right?
Oh, here we go. Here we go. I think we got it.
There you go. Yep.
Thank you. Sorry.
Okay. And then for some reason, it is not showing for me, but that's probably because I'm sharing. So let's see. Maybe I'll stop sharing so that I can see the poll. Yeah, I do not see it. So Shayla, you'll have to tell us the results so that I can see that.
Yeah, so I have 13 votes right now. Do you want me to give everyone a moment, or are you ready to hear it?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so we have business owners are 46%, operations managers at 15%, C-suite 23%, nonprofit founder at 8%, and other at 8%.
Okay. All right. We've got a good mixture today. That's awesome. Great. All right. So next. So before we dig in, and I share with you, Shaylee will share in the chat the link to the app, and then there will be a QR code if you want to do it separate from your workshop experience. For the best experience, you complete this in one setting, and we will today. If you save the link to come back to it and do it later, you'll want to, if you take a break, it will save in your current browser, and to make sure you don't lose your work, you'd want to leave the tab open. Or if you do end up closing it, if you go to the exact same device and the exact same browser, it should help you, allow you to pick up where you left off. So let's get started. So Shaylee, if you would put the link in the chat. And then if anybody is on their computer but wants to do this on their phone, you can snap the QR code and go to it. And I'll give everybody a little bit. Oh, and thanks, Lori, for your comment about AI making us more efficient. Yes, we will be talking about that. So this is what you should see. And I've kind of already given the introduction here. At the end, you will be able to download your results, and you'll also have the option to send them to me if you'd like to have a follow-up conversation or go over anything or pick my brains on anything. So you'll want to click on Start My Audit. And on this one, we're going to be looking at all your apps and software. So what you want to do is come down you're actually going to be working in your app. You'll come down into the section that says your inventory and list, if you start with your CRM, and then list the different software that's client facing, your financial software, any other, marketing software, and you can click Add Row so that you can, as many times as you need to put and to jot it in there. If you want a reminder of what it's for, you can pop that in. And then if you know the cost off the top of your head, or that's something that it might be a prompt to look at later, then you see these leaves down here. 5 leaves is, I love all the apps we have. One is I've got a lot of questions about my apps, and somewhere in between. Every time you see a leaf, if you'll rate yourself on that topic, then at the end you'll get an overall vitality score and this is for you. And then the second part of this is the integrations and automations that you will thinking about what software, for example, touches your client data. Maybe you have a CRM, and then you also have a marketing tool for sending email marketing or some other kind of marketing. Are those connected? Do they talk to each other? Does your email marketing give your CRM feedback about who opens emails or clicks on links, if that's not integrated? And AI can be we'll have a whole section on AI, but and AI can be very helpful with this. Nowadays, there are many AI tools where you can link in these, and and build these connections, or ask the AI tool to build that connection for you. Sometimes it's more complicated, and you want an expert to help you with that, or to take a look at what you've done and make sure, especially if you're running into that. The other piece of this is the automations, that this is looking at thinking about, do you have automations built in to take your manual tasks that are really just like data entry grunt work and do that for you. And sometimes that's internal to a piece of software. Sometimes that's an AI tool or another tool to connect the software, and so that you're not putting client data here and here. And the other thing is, have you ever thought about automations? And if you haven't, we can get you some resources to learn about that and to learn how to think about that in your business. And then as you're going down through, again, you can add rows with your automations, put your leaf marking, and then under quick wins, as you've been thinking about your apps and software and how they're connected, or these automations to make the manual work easier, what are the aha moments that you just had that you're like, oh, put that in the quick wins, so you don't have to remember. As a professional organizer once said to me, and you've probably heard, a short pencil is better than a long memory. And so a short phrase here in your quick wins to capture that means you'll have that later, and then your brain will be free to move on. The last one in and the quick wins and this roots and growth are in every single page. The roots and growth is something you've identified here that either needs outside help or some learning of yours, or is a longer term project where you know, okay, this is something I want to do, but it's not going to be quick. It's not just going to take like 15 minutes sitting down and getting it done, where I need to block out a bigger time. So take advantage of that as well. And the one thing I forgot to ask, Stacy, do we have reactions here in WebEx where people can like do a thumbs up if they're ready to move on?
We do. Yeah, at the bottom of your WebEx, there's a little smiley face. If you click there, you'll see your different reactions: thumbs up, clapping hands, hearts.
Okay. So if you're ready to move on to the next slide, give me a thumbs up or some kind of reaction. That would be helpful. Awesome. And to move to the next slide, you can either scroll all the way down and to the button over on the bottom right, or you can scroll all the way to the top and just click on the to button. And so the next slide is the phones and your phones and communication, cell phones, your business phones. One of the things I want you to think about, and we'll talk about this later with client data security, are you using your personal phone number or asking a team member to use a personal cell phone with clients in your business? That's a work-life boundary issue, could be a health and wellness issue. It's also a client data security issue. And for those with employees who are asking them to use their cell phone, it's an employee satisfaction issue. On the converse, some people have two cell phones that they're juggling for personal and work. And so is that something you're experiencing? You would want to note that in. And then the other thing to think about is your overall satisfaction with your communications. Can you transfer calls within your organization? Can you share a voicemail with someone if you need to, where maybe a client has told an operations manager all these details and the tech out in the field is the one who needs to hear it? Can you share that voicemail with them? How do you feel about your costs in your phone systems? Do you know what it costs? Do you know who you're paying when your contract is up? And we do have people that will come to us and say, help me figure this out. I think I'm paying too much for my phones. There was an electrician that we helped. We're actually in the middle of helping. She cut some costs immediately in our second after our discovery. The next conversation, we came back to her and said, you have 4 devices. Did you know you're paying full data for those and they're not being used? And for organizations that have 50 devices or more, we have a tool that will go through all the bills for you instead of a team member spending 3 days to try to figure out, are there phones that aren't being used? Are there ones that are using way more data than we're paying for? Are there ones that are used but hardly use data? And we can put that tool into play. And so then also quick wins and roots and growth. What are the aha moments that you just had? And is there a longer term project? Do you want to pull out that contract and take a look and see, do I have an option to switch at the moment? Or is that something that I need to put a plan in place for 6 months or a year down the road or when the contract ends? And then the next one with the internet and bandwidth issue, how is your internet functioning? It's really the backbone of your business. Are you getting the speed and reliability that you're paying for or that you would like? For team members or business owners who are working from their home, a lot of times we're working off of our internet that's just our personal account. Did you know that there's a possibility of getting a business account at your home address? And there are backup and failover options that if you have an internet that comes in and out and it's really critical for your business that your internet not go down, there are systems that can be set up where there's a secondary account and an automatic switch from one to the other, or dividing up the bandwidth that this internet account covers this bandwidth usage and another one covers a different usage, like, for example, computers versus the voice over IP phone system. So how is that functioning for you? Again, do you know your contract, who it's with, when it's up, what you're paying, and what are the quick wins and the longer term projects that you want to do? And Shaylee, are we seeing any questions in the chat?
I don't have any questions yet.
And I forgot to say that. You can put questions in the chat and Shaylee will let me know they're there. Okay. And then these next few are a little more in the deep. Oh, I want to go back to actually just mention in the phone systems and thinking about AI, there are now AI receptionists. And so that's an area where you can play and think through, are there times when you just can't answer the phone, but in your business, in your business life, it's really important to have someone pick up the phone. An AI receptionist can do that, and they're getting very good. Okay, back to IT support.
And Karin, real quick, I had Emily in the chat. She asked if you would have a guesstimate on how much it would cost to get 400 employees cell phone service.
I don't off the top of my head, but I'm very happy to gather a little more detail and then we can get some quotes on that. And that's the beauty of a matchmaker like me, is I can go to multiple carriers and get quotes from all of them. So there's a compare and then help compare apples to apples. So we can definitely do that. Thank you, Emily. And then with your IT support, it's again, who do you call when you have a breakdown, when something's broken? Who do you call when you need to upgrade? Do you know what you're allowed to do and what your IT person needs to do, what you need to call them for. Do you have an internal IT department or an external company to outsource? And some companies have both. They have an internal department that handles the hands-on team member facing. And then sometimes those companies have projects that their IT department just can't get to. And so they'll hire an outsourced IT company to do that project for them and interact with their internal department. So a couple of other things to think about when you're rating yourself is, as a business owner, are you, or a manager, are you the one onboarding your team members' email and all their logins and passwords? And do you want to do that? If not, that's something that an external IT person can do. And then the other thing to think about is, who do you pay for your email? Where is your company client data stored? Do you have backups? Do you have anybody else looking at that backup system to make sure that it's working? And one of the issues with that is that there are a lot of statistics that when there's a failure and you need to go get a backup, if the backup isn't recent, there can be client data lost. There can be, now with our cloud systems, it sometimes is not as much of an issue, but that's something to think about, is where does my data reside? Am I responsible for backing that up? And it could be things like client invoices that are PDFs or other things like that as well. Maybe you have part of it in the cloud and part of it is on physical computers that needs that backup. And then what are your quick wins and your routes for and longer term projects? And don't forget the leaves. The next one is cybersecurity. And this is really about your basic protections that every business should have in place. The phishing, the scammers trying to attack the back end of your system. Do you know what the vulnerabilities are in your system for cyber attacks? Do you have a simple software on every single computer or device that will catch anything, even catch clicking on the wrong link where it pops up and says, oh, I'm not so sure you want to click on that? Those kinds of things can be really helpful. How are you doing with that? Do you have systems in place? Do you know how to review them? And do you have a plan for when or if there is a breach? What's your plan? And does your team know vulnerabilities? And the employee training is really important as well, because it's usually, other than the external hacking into the back of your system, it's often people clicking on the wrong link. And the scammers are getting quite, as you probably have noticed, they can even have a long-term project, especially with a larger organization, of masking and mirroring, say, the VP or the president or the CEO of a company, where then the scammer, asks the IT department or the VP of IT, I'm traveling and I need access to this software. Can you give it to me? And if the person doesn't double check, like call them or text them or send a direct email to that person instead of just replying, there have been companies that have literally given scammers the rights into their whole software system. Yeah, that's a good question, Emily, about the mock phishing attacks. And that's typically part of employee training, is not just awareness, but testing you. And then there are also insurance that you can get for cyber attacks and cybersecurity. And turning on multi-factor authentication is really helpful. And a quick password tip is that if you, I was taught this by a cybersecurity person, if you pick 3 numbers and 3 letters that are meaningful to you, put a comma or a semicolon after them, and then put something after that that relates to the software you're using. Like I have my 3 numbers, 3 letters, the comma or semicolon, and then I have like Facebook or whatever. That can be a really helpful way to have a memorable password, because the first part is static for you, but then you change the second half. And if you're putting it somewhere, all you have to do is put the second half down. What did I put for that? Because you know the first half. Or you can do first half different, second half. Anyway, that's a little password tip for you if you're not using a password security software, which there are some really good ones for that as well. Okay, and then your quick wins and your roots in cybersecurity. Emily, you asked, could you repeat the request? I'm not sure which request that is that you're talking about. Sorry about that. So client data security. Oh, that I asked you to put something in the chat. No, I'm asking you just to keep filling out your app. Put your answers in the app because this is something that you'll have then to, but thank you. So on client data security, your clients trust you with their data. And many industries have compliance requirements, HIPAA, PCI, other compliance. Some, like California, has some client data security laws. All businesses, if you really care about your client, you want to think about their data security. So think about how securely your client data is stored, accessed, and backed up across your systems. Are there any instances where their data resides that on your team members' cell phones? So coming back to that. And or on a Google Drive that's a personal Google Drive. Another recommendation that I have in this area is if you're going to use Google Drive in your organization, always have it be a Google Drive set up with a business email or a new Gmail that the business owns, and always create new documents, new folders inside the business Google Drive, never on a personal drive. Or if you're a consultant where you're working for clients, always have that business create an email that you can use for a Google Drive for them, because you want the business to own your whole system. For that protects your intellectual property as well. And so make some notes. How are you doing? Check your leaves, put some quick wins and growths and roots and growth. And again, with your client data, who do you call when you have an issue? And do you have written contingency plans? And do you know how to communicate about this with your clients if there is a data breach? Okay. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to go into a breakout for like 5-6 minutes. It'll be random, so you'll just get to meet another person, 1 or 2 people here. So Shaylee, if you'd set that up and give people an opportunity to have a little fun, get to know each other, that would be awesome.
You got it. I will. I have them all set, so I will go ahead and open them up, and we'll see you back soon. Looks like I still have a couple here. If you guys see join breakout, if you see a pop-up, go ahead and click it.
They may just be deep working in their app.
Maybe. I want to make sure everyone.
And
Yeah,
that's okay. Yeah, just check and make sure everybody has someone in a room.
exactly. I don't want anyone left alone.
And if they're alone, just move them to a different room. Okay, I'm gonna. Oh, I'm gonna have to look and see who the Jennifer is that's in the chat. Which Jennifer friend of mine is that?
Yeah. And if you're still in the main room with us and you're trying to get into a breakout, put it in the chat, or look for the pop-up that you might have got that says join breakout. And if you're working on something else, we get it. We weren't in a place to go in.
Hmm. It's a little nice for me to have just a short.
A little breather.
Yeah, and hopefully everybody's brains will clear and reset. And Lori, I see you're still here. AI is our next thing. So if you're on the phone or something, come on back and we'll talk about that.
And then Karin, so I had that one question about for the quote. Is you want me to send you that in an email after just to keep it and then if I get anything else like that, just to keep it all together for
Yeah.
you? Okay.
Yeah. And if you could note who it is that
Yes.
asked. Yeah.
You got it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I do have an end screen that has a bunch of contact information that I do want to leave up during the end part so that people can screenshot it or I have a couple different QR codes.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, that's fine. I'll just put the
Great.
survey in the chat and then you can keep yours up.
Okay.
And that's great.
Okay. That sounds great. In WebEx, do you know how long it takes to close the room? Like in Zoom,
I have it set to 10 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So maybe about 30 more seconds and then we can close it.
Okay.
Do you have an ability to broadcast to the
I
room?
do, yes.
Why don't you tell them 1 more minute just so they can, and then we'll close it so that they kind of know.
Yeah, they're not surprised.
Yeah. Or not caught mid-sentence. And then will it automatically show my screen to them, or do I need to stop share and reshare once everybody gets in? Do you know?
It should still be showing.
Okay. It's showing for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, they're on their way.
Right. Welcome back. I hope you all had a chance to kind of reset your brain, take a little break, and we can dive back in. And Shaylee, let me know when everybody is back in.
I think we're all here. A couple people did drop, but
Okay.
maybe they'll rejoin us.
All right. And then, so the next one is your AI resources, AI development, AI tools. And while there are some legitimate concerns that people have, that with AI, you want to think of it. Oh, Jody's saying she can't hear me.
Yeah.
Can
I can
you hear me okay?
I can. Is anyone else having audio issues? Maybe let us know in chat or do a thumbs up if you can hear.
Okay.
Can hear.
Yeah. And Jody, if you do need to drop out and come back in, Shaylee will let you in. So if you want to try that. So with AI, you can list, and I'm just realizing in my app, I should probably have a spreadsheet little function like I did with the apps, but you can list the AI tools that you use. And so some things to think about. If for those of you that are wondering, how can AI help? What are some ideas for that? As I mentioned before, the AI receptionist, there are AI tools for marketing that can go out into various places where people hang out, whether it's social media or internet, and help generate leads for you. AI can help with scheduling, with content creation, with your customer service. Of course, research, it's great for research. And thinking through also, some tools are better for some kinds of tasks than others. And then there are a couple of tools that will go out, like, for example, Perplexity is the one I use. You can tell it, act like ChatGPT, or act like Gemini, or act like, there's 6 or 7 different tools that it will either choose the best one for the work that you're asking it to do, or you can specifically put it into that. If you know, okay, I want this prompt is for this kind of software AI tool. And the automations we talked about, the AI can basically make all of your team members more efficient and more effective. And the other thing that you want to think about with AI is having standard operating procedures, especially around client data or information about your business. You want to be really careful what goes into an AI tool, and make sure if it's got client data that it is HIPAA compliant if you're in the medical field, or PCI compliant. And if you're part of a larger organization, they're probably already helping you think about that. You also want to look at where can bottlenecks form. I know one of my issues is I get all these ideas and I get AI creating stuff, but then it just sits there and I don't always implement it. So you still need the human element to implement and have a system for remembering either built into the AI or to at least jot a note for yourself. Hey, come back to that one. So in your quick wins, identify one area that you either are curious about, and AI can help you learn and research, how can AI help me with this? So if there's a certain area of your business that you're not sure if AI can help you with, ask an AI tool to do that. The other thing that's amazing is that there are external resources. There are AI coaches and consultants that will come into your business or nonprofit and walk the path with you. They'll bring all their knowledge of all of what's possible and either give you ideas that then you implement, or implement with you, a done with you or a done for you, where they can set it up and then you can just run it. So there is so much, so many outside resources and coaching and summits and courses that I'm happy to help you think through what might be the most effective and the least frustrating for you. And then your quick wins and what's a longer term project. What are things that AI isn't doing that you'd like it to do? And is that something you can implement right away that you know how to, you just haven't done? Or is it something that's going to take more research, an external resource, etc.? All right, the next one, we talked about all your apps. This one I want to address specifically your CRM and how it's interacting with your marketing systems for your business. So you have a marketing plan, you have marketing goals, your software and your systems, you want to support that instead of frustrating it. And there are some new tools that I am seeing that I wanted to just quickly mention to you in case they could be helpful. So as you're thinking about this, you want to think for your marketing, what software are you using and how is it functioning for you? Is it integrated with your CRM or does it need to be? Couple of solutions. One is list integration. We have all these lists. We have our CRM or a spreadsheet, LinkedIn. We have contacts on our phone, hopefully a business phone. We have other social media lists. We might have business cards or invoices in paper still. There is a list integration specialist that is amazing. And so people like that exist that can take all your lists and make them into one beautiful list so that you can market more effectively. Another one is database reactivation. If you have people where you've generated this new list that haven't received your marketing emails, or you have people in your database that haven't received emails in a while, you want to do a reactivation strategy so that your overall email marketing isn't dinged and throttled because you're sending out to people with bad email addresses or that are saying, okay, I haven't heard from this person forever, that's spam. So that's a tool or a resource that's available. For locally based businesses, there's software that's an online manager that manages your whole online Google listing, all the other listings, social media posting, etc. Helps you find more local clients. There's also an AI-powered lead gen tool that pulls legally and without getting you in trouble with the social media platforms, can help you generate leads out of social media without doing all the dancing. It's more of a back-end piece. So if those are helpful, you might jot those in your roots and growth area, and I'm happy to introduce you. And the other piece to remember in your marketing tools is, are you using a social media posting tool? What's your strategy there? And what's your strategy with social media? Okay. The next one, a lot of times people don't think about this with tech, is your client appreciation. There are great software tools that can either remind you, either inside your CRM, you can build automations for that. And a lot of times we think of client appreciation as an external system, something we have to do that's totally separate from our tech. There's also software that has the ability to, in an automated way, send out cards, send out gifts on your behalf, whether it's at the holidays or a client birthday, or maybe you make up an unbirthday, where you can automate those touch points. And these software, as I've talked about before, can be integrated with your CRM so that you can move that client data into the software and have it support you that way. And I'd have we have the quick wins, the leaves. So think about, how are you doing with your client appreciation, and would using some kind of technology tool or software tool help you be more effective? And really the reason is retention is cheaper than acquisition. We've all heard it. And outreach like this on a regular basis. There's one example is a roofing company that sends 3 cards to their physical cards in the mail, which have become so valuable because everybody does email or mailers or things like that. And who gets positive mail anymore? They have, now that's the only marketing expense, is sending these cards, because they're getting so many referrals from their client that it increased the referrals to the place where they don't need to do all the other marketing that they're doing. I have an extra bonus gift here for you, that you can send a free physical card in the mail when you click that send a card link. So what I would do, since we're here today and moving on to the next slide, click that link, put it in your browser, and then later today come back to that. And if you lose it, let me know. I'm happy to send it out to you again. Or if you, the slides that are going out will have a shortened link that you can copy and get to that as well. But you can pick someone, and you might even write it in your quick wins. Who is the person that you're so grateful for right now that you want to send a physical card to? And then, is there a longer term project of figuring out how you want to show appreciation to your clients, your referral partners, those that make your business go? The next one is, again, an area that isn't as significant well, it's not thought of automatically when you think about your tech and your software, but that's your video content. Video is so valuable for marketing, for employee training, for client onboarding. Where are you storing your videos? Do you have a protocol for storage, for posting, for editing? And maybe you are thinking now of a software that you use for that maybe you didn't think in the first slide, so you can jot that there as well. The other thing that a lot of people, and I have a specialty garden for, is helping people take their highly effective videos and leverage those onto streaming TV. So one of your action steps could be going and looking at your analytics of your videos. Which one is really high performing? And that would be not just likes and engagement and shares or reposts, but which ones actually get people reaching out to you. Maybe think about putting that on TV. And then think about where else you can put your video content out in the universe. Are there online networking groups that you're part of where you can share that? Like, for example, a few of us in the room are in BNI. You can share a video through your BNI app, so that when people go outside, inside or outside your chapter, go to find you, Are there other online networks that you can post that, like Alignment or others that you're involved with? And a lot of times we don't think about it on LinkedIn, but videos are highly effective on LinkedIn as well. So think about that. So what are a few quick wins and action step? Oh, and then the learn more button there goes to, because I have this specialty garden, I have about 30 clients that are on some stage of getting onto streaming TV. I started a community. So you're welcome to check out our Blooming Voices streaming TV community. And even if you're not quite ready to jump onto streaming TV, if you're curious about the pathway and what the options are, you're welcome to join us there. And is there a longer term project? Okay. So this last one is a little bit more of an overview. So you want to think about, what if we cleared some of these technological weeds and tangled tech that you have unearthed? What if we cleared those? How would it feel for you to have some of these things untangled, to have new systems put in place? What difference would it make 6 months or a year from now? What would peace of mind look like for you? What would efficiency or effectiveness? What are their specifics? And Nate, I see you have to run. You will want to check out the last few slides when you get them, because there's some more information here for you. And make sure before you close your app to go to the results page and download that for yourself, so you don't have to go back and redo it. And then going to the results page, I haven't been filling in the app while I've been talking with you, so I just have a 1 because I was showing it to you. But you should have a score between 1 and 60. And then if you would select your top 3 high impact priorities that you want to address, that will show up in your results. And then you can click Save and Print Report. If you're open to sending the results to me, click that button and it will send me the copy as well. And of course, I will keep it confidential. And then if you already know, okay, I've got a lot here and I want to talk to Karin, there's a button there. You can pull up my schedule and do that. Okay, so coming back, here to our slides, I want to look at what's your biggest tech challenge today. What's one tool you wished worked better? Where are you losing the most time to manual work? And what would you do with an extra few hours a week? And Shaylee, if you would put up the poll, I'm curious what you're finding.
All right, it's open. Loading.
And I think on this one, Shaylee, once you get the results, if you could screenshot that for me, since for some reason it is not showing for me.
You got it.
Because I'm the presenter. And then any questions you have, we have a few minutes, drop those in the chat. You're also welcome, for accountability's sake, or if you'd like to share your next action step or an area you'd like help with the most. And I really appreciate you all hanging in through the whole process. And hopefully, I'm really hoping that light bulbs have been going off and aha moments and insights for you.
I have 1 vote. Oh, here comes another one. Showing cybersecurity, marketing, and lead generation. You let me know, Karin, how long you want me to keep it open.
Yeah, I guess I guess if anybody still would like time to answer, just drop it in the chat that you still need more time. Otherwise, we can move on once you see what's there.
All right, I'll go ahead and close it.
Okay. So thank you for sharing that. And on your next 30 days, choose one of your larger roots and growth, and you may want to go back to your results and review all of those to implement. Obviously, there's the quick wins. You can build in time in your calendar. If you'd like to schedule a review call, as I mentioned, I really want to encourage you to share that results document with someone and talk it over with them. If you're a solopreneur or a small business owner, share it with a coach or a consultant. Even talk over it with your team. If you're part of a larger team, take it to your leader, your IT department. Talk it over with someone, and you can share those insights with them and maybe raise some questions. And then put on your calendar your next audit. When is the next time you're going to come back to this tool? And will it be annually, every 6 months, every quarter? This tool is here. It's going to remain available, and you will have access to it. So put that in your calendar. And as you're continuing to think about your tech ecosystem, I just encourage you to keep building a mindset of curiosity and learning. As you know, things are changing rapidly, and growing and strengthening that tech ecosystem. And that will help your business adapt and thrive. The other thing is to plan for upgrades. When you know you're hitting up, when you can see that you will be hitting up against some, whether it's like the number of contacts in your CRM or some other boundaries or barriers where you know there will need to be a change, plan that ahead. It's kind of like when your hot water heater, if you're aware that it could go anytime, when you plan the replacement of it, you get to choose when it does. If you wait till it breaks, then it's an emergency and it's scrambling, and maybe you're having a busy day or a busy month in the terms of tech. So when you're upgrading, think about the time that it's going to take. Think about the time frame, the resources, the training resources for all the team members to learn the new pieces. So that's another piece to consider. And as you probably have guessed, you don't have to do this alone. That I'm here as an outsourced tech partner, the technology matchmaker, the tech gardener, where what we do is we vet the solutions for you. Let's say you come to us with a couple of issues or one issue. We'll go look at all of our partners and vendors, and we'll check with them, is this client a good fit for you? So you never have to waste time having a discovery call with a potential resource, only to have them say at the end, you're not a good fit for us. Who wants to waste time like that? And it's ongoing support. So you can reach out anytime. No question is too big or too small. And the TCO founder likes to say, one call does it all, that we address all these issues. So instead of having to go to multiple people and multiple resources on all these different areas, you can have one conversation and then have resources brought to you like on a silver platter. So I would love to stay in touch, and I thank you very much. And I realized I did end up putting two here. One is, before I go to the slide that has all the contact information, if you're open to me emailing you, if you want to put your email address in the chat, if I don't already have it, If you told Enterprise Bank and Trust when you registered that you're okay being in touch with me, they will get me your email address as well. And so I have a few QR codes and shortcuts here of scheduling time with me. My digital card has my email, phone, my social. I did just start a new YouTube channel that has Tech Gardener videos where I'm ferreting out tech issues and talking about them through talking about plants in my garden. They're a lot of fun. I do have a reviews and testimonials page now, and especially for those of you that have known me for a while, you might not have seen this yet. I would love a review if you've used us or if you'd just like to go read them. And then again, the information about my streaming TV specialty garden is there for you.